Glen's ripped.
Who to be up? Boomer.
Welcome back to the Gooner Fanzine TV podcast as we begin another week with Emery still as the Arsenal manager and Glen's grump becoming more grumpy. We'll get straight into it. I'm Toby Miles and I'm joined by... You don't like...
Fine, carry on.
I thought you said stop.
Don't listen to him, carry on.
Please carry on. It's a flattering introduction.
We'll get straight in with the We Care to You statement that came out. Layth, what was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a really hard hitting, strong statement from the guys at the Arsenal sort of Supporters Alliance, with some big names, some good people, some real loyal, genuine fans out there, some fans with big numbers as well that can influence a lot of people and hopefully get their message, get our message, every Arsenal fan's message to the board, basically, which basically is, it's not good enough. Things are not good enough for what's going on. One of the strongest lines, which was highlighted by a lot of journalists, myself included, was the fact they called Arsenal rudderless. It was a really strong statement. It came from the heart. It was genuine. It was a really good thing to do in terms of reminding a lot of people out there that Arsenal fans are still there and we're still going to be as militant as we can if things come to that, basically. And to call Arsenal rudderless is strong language, but it was absolutely the right language to use, because Arsenal were an absolute shambles off the pitch at the moment in terms of leadership. The board, the Cronkies, I'm just so fed up with them. So many people feel the same way. In terms of Emery, why are they not sacking him? Seriously, what is the reason? And I know it's a broad church, there's a big umbrella, there's a lot of other issues as well, ticketing, fan things as well, but purely for me in this particular moment, and fans take what they want to take from We Care to You, which is part of the attraction, basically. But for me at the moment, why is Emery still manager? He's not good enough to be manager. I did a tweet today basically saying, you know, just pay him off. Do the right thing, show leadership, pay him off, because he's just a decent man who's not the right man for Arsenal Football Club, basically. Tim Payton did a tweet earlier basically saying, you know, it's going to cost Arsenal 15 million to pay off Emery and all his assistants and everyone. So what? How much would it cost if Arsenal didn't get in the Champions League this year?
The best 15 million that was spent all season.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what was your take on We Care?
Well, I mean, the word rudderless really summed up for me. It's almost like the blind leading the blind at the moment, isn't it? You've got the Cronkies who just don't seem interested, and yeah, you can portion a lot of the blame to Emery at the moment. Obviously, the results and performance on the pitch are not good enough, but there's no leadership at the top. The hierarchy just don't seem to have any clue of what to do next, what the next step should be, what the long-term future should be. It's just, there needs to be someone takes control and says, right, this is what we're doing, and we're doing it now, and this is the plan for the future. Because at the moment there is no plan. It's just we're gonna mumble along, fumble through the season, and see what happens. Well, it's not the way it should be.
Yeah.
It's not leadership.
Absolutely.
Well, because they highlighted quite clearly what Stan Kroenke said when he said KSE's ambitions for the club are to see it consistently competing to win the Premier League and the Champions League. At the moment, we don't look like we can even get into Europa League positions, let alone even consider winning the Premier League. I mean, we've got less than half the points Liverpool have got, and we're only 12, 13 weeks in. This is not good enough assistance for the fans. You know, we go there week in, week out, and we see it every week. The stadium's getting more and more empty. There are fewer and fewer people. There's less and less atmosphere. Yeah. I mean, the Southampton game, the atmosphere, there wasn't one. It was just flat.
Yeah. So you say about the stadium. What was the statement? We care to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that stadium, like you say, is emptying out rapidly. Mm-hmm. Thursday is going to be very interesting to see how many people care, because you know I could go with another banner headline. Is like, you know, you patently don't care. Why should I? Because I think that's the sort of attitude that a lot of fans are now embracing.
And that's coming from someone who's watched Arsenal since the early 70s.
I'm not going Thursday. I just can't be. It's not because I'm not a loyal fan. I am, but it's just the misery. Football should be fun. You should be there enjoying the experience. You know, as far as I'm concerned, the board have kind of reaped what they've sowed. They've got the kind of fans that they pretty much deserve. They've turned their back on a lot of the real fans, priced them out. Yeah. A lot of the grumbling is coming from people, sort of like fly-by-night fans. You know, my question would be, who's in charge, the Cronkies or the Crankies? Sorry, and that one was not pre-prepared.
Honestly, you've been practicing all day.
I have not that one, but others.
You talk about the atmosphere, and you know, I might be pining for better days or whatever, And I don't know about planning permission or things like that, but why didn't we do what Liverpool have done with Anfield and just try and redevelop Highbury? We've moved into a stadium that's going to put us, well, it has put us in a lot of debt and put us in a situation where we weren't challenging for years, and we've now got this soulless bowl of a stadium.
That is.
Yeah,
That's
they did look into it, didn't they? Because
Yeah, I think
they looked into the clock end, because obviously you've got the East Stand and the West Stand, and you can't do much with that anyway. Not that you want to, certainly with the East Stand with the facade. The North Bank was always a bit too hemmed in, so you redeveloped the clock end basically, and they worked out they could probably get up to 45,000 seats. So it's like, is that enough?
But I still would have rather had less people in a packed stadium.
Well,
with better
I mean,
atmosphere.
the thinking back then, it just wasn't going to work.
I know,
actually,
but
so.
I just whenever I go to the Emirates, I just feel like, well,
It's not even that bad.
there's nothing there, is there? It's just an empty bowl where you put people in and watch a game.
Exactly,
Of football.
they cobbled that move together quickly. It was great how quickly they got that
Yeah, I agree
stadium
with you,
built and got us in there. There was no thought about stadium design in terms of grouping sort of loyal sections of fans that had come over from across the road,
Yeah.
so they could sit together. So there's been that sort of like diaspora around the ground. There's people sort of split up. I know friends who've tried to sort of move so they could be with other friends. They don't care.
Yeah.
You know, the bottom line, all they cared about was the biggest bang for the buck they could get.
Yeah.
And now it's backfiring a bit. And, you know, I will say again, Arsenal fans have been very patient and very loyal.
Yeah.
It's the failed promise that they dangled in front of the Arsenal fans. We're going to be competing at the top. We're going to be sort of like part of the elite. And we're just slipping down now. I mean, in terms of on the pitch, at the moment, a very good friend, you know, Nigel, he said in the pub Saturday, we are looking like relegation fodder at the moment.
Well, it's got that mid-70s vibe about 16 and 17.
It's the Bobby Campbell years.
Yeah,
Writ large.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. I mean, let's talk about Highbury. We were sold a lie, and I've tweeted this before, and I've written about it for newspapers and everything. Arsenal sold a lie in terms of that move.
Yeah.
I know Abramovich sort of changed the sort of landscape of the sort of territory,
contributing factors.
which was, you know, the wheels were in motion for the new stadium basically. But at the same time, we were sold a lie, told that we were going to compete on a different level. You know, the giants of Europe, world football basically, and it didn't happen.
No.
And it didn't happen on arguably the most expensive tickets in the world, basically.
Yeah.
What do we do about it? I mean, it's interesting to go a step back on what you were saying about, you know, you're not going on Thursday. We've had sort of conversations in the pub and stuff about, you know, to go back again, the 2018 League Cup final, I did a piece for you.
You did, yeah.
Just basically saying you were boycotting the final. I didn't particularly agree with that, but it was literally split 50-50, wasn't it? People were absolutely going, look, Glen's done the right thing by not doing it. And then there was the other side going, well, no, you should go to a game, basically. So to play devil's advocate, because I don't know myself, if there was a boycott of a game, a home game, obviously you probably wouldn't. I mean, for me, like I'm sort of, you know, I'm Labour. I wouldn't ever sort of cross a picket line through socialist values and all the rest of it. So if there was a concerted boycott, I don't think I'd go to a game. No. But it'd have to be a concerted one. It wouldn't have to be like Joe Bloggs standing in front of me at the turnstile going, "You're not going in." It'd have to be like across the board. So you would say you would boycott a game though. If it came to
I
that.
would probably, I mean, if there was some sort of like, you know, genuinely organised boycott, but I mean, you know, they never worked.
No,
they?
That's the thing.
You know,
And
because
how can they work?
it's a very unique business when they've got fans like that. You know, they've got them in a stranglehold when they've got a real loyalty to the club. You know, they love the club. You know, there's no one more important than the fans at the club. They go, you know, high and low to support their team. I know I sound like a bit of a hypocrite here, but it's just sort of apathy. You know, I was so miserable on Saturday. I know I'm very miserable. But, you know, I'm just sort of like looking at my shoes thinking, this is just not fun. You know,
What, your shoes?
Yeah, my shoes, yeah. No, you throw me there. But, you know, like I say again, it should be fun. We should at least be sort of playing attacking football at home to Southampton.
Yeah.
You know, starting with 5 at the back.
Yeah.
Worried about the opposition who are lying bottom of the table or very close to it.
Yeah.
I think they were bottom of the day when the day started, I'm not sure. You know, and what was I saying? Yeah, and the day before he's making excuses. Oh, I'm a bit worried about Southampton. You know, they're very good away side.
Yeah.
It's just ludicrous. We're at Arsenal. I heard the guy being interviewed earlier.
Matt
We're
Mazzell,
a huge
yeah.
team.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and setting up like that at home. It's
Yeah.
just depressing.
Yeah. Dan had a good point as well after the game on Saturday and the post-match reaction stuff as well. In terms of a 95th minute equaliser, in your years of watching the Arsenal, have you ever seen a 95th minute equaliser being celebrated so low-key, or even celebrated at all?
Well,
what did that say?
I didn't see
yeah,
that
exactly,
one.
yeah, because he left. Yeah, exactly.
No, I did tell Dan outside. Helen was there that day.
Yeah.
And we just
Glen's girlfriend.
We just gone
Who's lovely.
just gone sort of like down onto the concourse. You could see it on the screen, and the goal went in. And it was just the weirdest sort of like, yay, and it stopped. And I just thought, I had a word with you. it's either VAR or the goal's just been immediately disallowed.
Yeah.
Because it was just the most bizarre reaction. I have never ever seen that. You know, there wasn't even sort of ironic cheers.
Yeah.
You know, and the players looked
It's
embarrassed.
almost like they realised they'd saved them his job,
Players,
basically.
yeah.
There was even confusion in the press box. I mean, the journalists I was sat around, we were just kind of looking at each other going, has that been allowed?
Yeah.
Why are they not celebrating?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously 2-2 at home to Southampton is not a good result. But
you should be happy that we got an equaliser. Yeah, exactly.
I'll be off celebrating.
Yeah, it should have been an eruption of joy. Yeah, exactly.
I think the psychology of that was, you know, Lacazette and the rest of them, they knew, you know, it's almost an insult if we celebrate this. We're at home to Southampton.
Yeah, maybe there's a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah.
Well, we'll obviously talk about the question, the football in a minute.
Go on.
What else was we, just to go back to the statement again?
The big statement they made was, we've been told by the board and the higher-ups that we need to be excited and support the team.
Yeah.
The one thing we've had week in, week out is because we've had such listless control over the team sheet, when we get the team sheet announced every week, I never know what to expect, so I can't actually get excited for it.
No.
So I don't know. Like, I mean, how are we supposed to get excited about seven defensive-minded players? You know, five defenders and 2 DMs. Like, it's so hard to get excited, especially when you don't know. If you knew what your team was week in, week out, you could get excited. Like,
or at least the manager who's not going to pick 34 different sort of teams
it's
like
so
you
hard
said the
to get
other day.
behind a team.
There's only
It's
been
not a
two
team.
moments of excitement for me this season. Obviously, Pepe's 2 late goals against Victoria at home, and the late one against Aston Villa. But they were both games where you said, well, we should be coasting at this point. We should be 4 or 5-0 up.
Yeah.
Second half against Spurs.
Well, that as well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just like, what are we meant to be excited about?
Yeah.
We're going nowhere. If anything, we're moving down. We're not. Shouldn't be looking above us, in my opinion. We should be looking over our shoulders.
Well,
There is
Spurs and
literally no
United are 1
reason.
point behind us.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no reason to be excited.
Newcastle playing tonight.
Villa,
Will stay above them on goal difference, I think.
Yeah. Well, we got goal difference of -1.
Yeah.
It's hardly positive for Arsenal to have a goal difference of -1 when you look at Leicester, Liverpool, and City. We've all got goal differences of 20 plus.
Exactly, and with our attacking firepower, or supposed attacking firepower.
You know, we're supposed to have the best front three that a team could have. You know, we've got Aubameyang, who's come off absolute fire. You've got Pepe, 72 mil, Lacazette, who's well rated in France.
Yeah.
And you look at it and you go,
Every single player looks a shadow of what they've been before and showed us.
Well, the attacking players are on a leash, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're being held back.
And that goes back to the weak headline as well about the tactics used only add to confusion, uncertainty, unrest amongst the fan base. That for me sums it up as well. It's not just off the pitch; it's on the pitch as well, which is symptomatic of a manager who's not going to get sacked by a board that doesn't care. Basically,
setting up yesterday as what was it, a 5-3-1 or whatever. It was like, what's the point?
Do you know,
like, and then he goes back to his favourite 4-2-3-1 again.
Well,
it's sort of
whatever
like,
formation he's used,
just
doesn't
stick
work.
with a formation and just have a go at actually
I was
being
shocked
cohesive.
when I saw that line up Saturday.
Yeah.
I really was.
Yeah, and I know, like you sort of argue you can have the wing backs bomb on, but you do not
does
need
in a
5 defensive-minded backline basically against a team that lost 9-0 at home 2 weeks ago. Basically, that's the bottom line, and that's without disrespecting any opposition.
It mentions there about the tactics and the instructions being given. I have to listen to Emery week in, week out in the press conference.
Yeah.
And half the time, I don't know what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got no idea. Can you imagine what's like in the dressing room when he's giving the instructions? You sat there thinking, what?
Exactly. I mean,
there was a clip of David Luiz getting instructions on the touchline on Saturday, and Emery's you would see the video, he points back to where the defence was, he points into midfield, and he points into attack, and David Luiz is stood there going,
gormless.
You literally see the look on his face, and he just doesn't have any idea.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I can't believe one, he's still at the club, really.
Well.
But do you think if Lacazette hadn't scored that goal, he would have been sacked?
That's why they didn't celebrate for me.
No, I don't.
I think it'd have been a lot closer to being sacked in terms of
Wow,
the
we
decision,
got a
shall we
point
do
out.
it, shall we not?
We
But that
thought,
2-2, they
didn't
weren't going to sack him after
We
that.
thought he was sacked after the game because I think he was so late. To
Yeah,
play.
exactly.
It
There was that delay,
half
wasn't
an
there?
hour, which is compared to what it normally is 10-15 minutes that you
Yeah.
play. Half an hour. There was kind of a sense from myself and the other journalists sat in the presser that it was going to be like, oh, wait, is someone other than Emery going to come out here?
Yeah.
Is this the end? We're going to witness it first hand in the moment, but obviously, he turned up in the end. But there was that moment of, this could be it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I bet there was a buzz going, man. There would have been if I was there. But,
Can I just say, I'm sure you agree, I have nothing against Unai Emery.
Yeah,
No.
he's a
Absolutely.
decent
No,
man.
yeah,
That's
no,
the thing.
he
There's-
And I'm now beginning to feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
He's not up to the job. And the board, it's almost like, you've worked in the city, it's almost getting tantamount to corporate negligence, the way the board
Yeah.
are just letting this chug along.
Yeah.
not doing anything about it, sitting on their hands.
They got to think at the bottom line about the money. The money that we're not going to get from the Champions League. That's a huge danger for us, considering it'll be another successive season without Champions League football.
I think we have to accept we're not going to get anywhere near that.
Well,
Not if we carry on, no. And all you want is progress. You just want to see some progress, and all we've done is just gone backwards. We've gone backwards so badly. There's no evidence that he can pull it round. There's no evidence that he can get back to where we were against, say, Burnley. In August, basically. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't understand the optimism that day.
Well, I mean, you say about optimism before the international break, not the one just gone, the one before that. It was like, well, we're third, a point behind Man City, and look at it now. Like, how is it gone so? Obviously, it wasn't great before.
We were still saying that the signs were there.
How has it gone so sour so quickly?
Did I not say that day when we were third? I sat in and I said, this club is heading for a massive fall. And sooner or later, and we'll be sitting here getting towards Christmas, and we'll be talking about it.
Glen. That's the title of the podcast.
But, I mean, like last season, obviously we had that string of undefeated games. That wasn't through sheer ability. I think that was just more fortune and luck.
Didn't we?
Yeah,
but that was more luck and fortune than it was actual ability, and I think that's kind of sort of discovered and hidden a lot of the issues.
Yeah. Don't say papered over the cracks. Papered over the cracks?
Crabs? Let's not go there.
Definite Freudian slip.
Maybe not.
But absolutely, there's a paragraph. I mean, everything that was written in the We Care statement basically chimes with so many fans. But there's that line basically we were talking about just now. The early optimism of summer around what appeared to be good business and positive signings has given way to renewed concerns about the club's overall direction and leadership of the owner. It feels like the club is rudderless and floating aimlessly, unsure of its destination. That is damning, but that's absolutely spot on, isn't it?
It mentions about the business, and Nicolas Pepe, 72 million. I think in the end he will come good, under possibly a change of management, and I wouldn't say it's a bad bit of business in the long term. But would you not rather have spent 72 million on two centre-halves, one centre-half?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the point is the fact they did spend 72 million because there was a lot of fear that there was nothing going to be spent unless you recycled it and all the rest of it.
It's the wrong business for me.
Well, I mean, at the time, everyone was happy with Pepe, basically.
But, we spent the big money on Saliba, which we won't see until next year.
That's what I thought was a strange thing, because obviously we need a centre-half. We're crying out for centre-half.
So they buy one and they say, you can have him next year.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like we got him on pre-order.
Does that mean
we're going to get himself deliberately injured now?
But I mean, does that mean that Emery was so sure of himself that basically, we're gonna buy for the future?
But then other things he did, like selling the youth player Bielich, the young Polish player who's now at Derby.
He did really well at Charlton, but I mean, he wouldn't have been ready to sort of come in now. But you just don't know.
But the thing is, though, if we've got a lack of him, why sell one that we've got?
Yeah, exactly.
And then just bring in.
I don't think you could expect Luis to be as bad as he's been. To be fair,
no, you could expect.
Well,
as I said a few weeks ago, when Chelsea got a transfer ban and they're selling their one tried and tested centre back, it's not a great sign, is it?
Bang on.
You can't realistically expect Chelsea to go, you know what, he's brilliant, but you can have him for 8 mil. They're not going to do that.
What was Danny's thing? My mate Danny on Saturday. What was his line about if you're going to buy an over the hill underperforming side Chelsea centre half by Gary Cahill rather than Louise, basically?
But the thing about Louise is, the thing with Louise is the main reason he's bought him was his ability to play out from the back. He can't even do that. I've watched him time and time again this season where he gets the ball, knocks it out of his feet, and he's got one of the attacking players making a run in behind, and he just has the simplest just whip it in behind, and they're off. He just waits, and he waits, and he waits, and he gives it away.
But the other part of that problem is it might be well and good playing out from the back, but if he's not got someone in midfield to play it to, what's the point? We don't seem to have a cohesive link between the defence and the attack.
Well, this playing out from the back stuff, I've had enough. I said within 3 minutes on Saturday, here we go again. And the moment with Socrates in the second half just sums it up. What was he doing?
Don't get me started.
Absolutely. And again, we care. There's another line there basically saying the team has not only stagnated, it's actually regressed. To date, that is a legacy of the Kroenke years. And for me, just get out of our club. What are you doing in my club if you don't care about the future of the club? You're using us as some sort of investment vehicle, but you're not speculating to accumulate. Basically,
we have to accept he does not give a toss.
Yeah, but I thought Josh would have done a little bit. Certainly, some of the pronouncements over the summer. Certainly, the fact they opened the purses in terms of 72 million. But it's gone backwards again. It has regressed, to use We Care's word, basically. We Care's phrase.
They trot out
it's
platitudes.
So frustrating.
We want to be doing this. We want to be doing that. But where's the effort and the thought and any sort of
there's no planning
sort of set up or planning.
That'll be enough.
I can sit there and go, I want us to sort of be competing for Champions Leagues. They're running a business.
Yeah.
That's part of their remit to make us half decent on the pitch and to compete.
Yeah.
But other clubs are already discussing sort of the sale of their ownership. Crystal Palace have been banding it about because they want to get more investment. They're looking forward to the future. We've got owners that are happy with their return at the moment and aren't looking for the future sort of possibilities because they've already got a paid-off stadium. They've already got a squad where they're getting enough money from Premier League TV rights. The Champions League for them, it's nice for the fans, but for their bottom line, it's not that relevant.
Well, that's the thing about the boycott.
Yeah.
If no one turned up, do you think the Cronkies would go, well, we care? I don't think they would.
I think empty seats do make a difference. I think for that...
Well,
for
the
that
City game.
I was going to say, that week when we had City twice, we had the League Cup game on a Sunday, freezing cold, we lost 3-0, then we had City at home at the Emirates on the Thursday. I mean, it was freezing cold, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But I talked to Salt at the club, and there was 25,000 in there that night, and there was swaves of empty seats everywhere. And that was when the decision was made, or that was when they basically said, look, we can't, this has reached a tipping point now, Wenger has to go, basically. And if that happened again now...
The Etihad's always empty, though.
Well, I mean, it goes back Man City at the
But they
moment.
win league titles. So.
Well, but the point is, the fact that if there was literally no one in the ground for the next home game, which would be Brighton on Thursday, the 4th of December,
Well, there's gonna be no
5th
one
of
there
December,
anyway.
would that make a difference? I think it would. I really do. But then it's how do you get that boycott? How do you get a boycott going? How do you get people actively not going to go? Someone like Liverpool,
Everybody's doing it the right way.
Well, apart from the football on the pitch.
Play terribly. Don't attack. Don't defend.
Yeah,
no one will turn up.
But my thing is, like, you look at someone like Liverpool, the City and the club. So they had a real concerted plan of action to get rid of was it the Crafts? I can't even remember. The American owners basically really unpopular. And basically, because Liverpool is, you could argue it's obviously a two-city town rather
Very
than
politicised town as well. Like.
very politicised, which is good. It doesn't need to be done about that. They've done so many good things in terms of Hillsborough and fighting against the establishment that didn't care, spread lies and all that. So I've got huge respect for them in that respect.
I said town, it's a city. Sorry.
You know what I mean. But yeah, absolutely. So it's like, if Liverpool can do it, they can do it because they've got a sense of community, because there is a bond between the city and the club. Is there a bond between Arsenal and London? Arsenal's cosmopolitan. That's why we're proud to be in London sometimes. But at the same time, it's so spread out. Arsenal's fan base isn't just North London these days. It's Hertfordshire, it's Kent, it's Hampshire, it's Sussex, it's Surrey. On top of that, it's worldwide as well.
Well, you
People
only have to
coming
look
from
at the
everywhere.
seat next to me.
Glen's tourist seat, which we'll go on to later.
Wasn't that bad, was it?
Basically, So if you're going to do that, what are you going to form another group? We Care are there, but We Care can't organise a boycott. Maybe they can. I don't know. Let us know if you're part of it. I know a few of you. Got huge respect for you, but I think empty seats make a difference, basically. But how do you orchestrate a concerted boycott of a game? I really don't know.
I don't think you can with our club.
No.
I was part of sort of like various protests and marches, mainly against the board. I didn't sort of. I really wanted Wenger out a long while ago. I did a couple of them. I think you covered a couple when you were doing his job. He was
doing my job.
But it was just apathy, and we would.
All right, then.
I would walk past people, sort of newcomers, new season ticket holders, and that, and you get snidey little comments. Oh, they're just a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
They don't know when they were born.
Yeah.
Well, I do actually. It was 1963. And I supported
Bloody hell, really?
Supported a proper club.
The world was black and white.
that I really cared about.
You mentioned kind of having a worldwide audience.
Was John F. Kennedy still alive when you were born?
All I'm saying is I did see Bob Wilson.
the moon was just a thing in the sky. They've never been there.
One day someone's going to be there.
You mentioned obviously having a worldwide fan base, and if you pay for your ticket, you're welcome to come to a game. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you talk about Liverpool, and when I went to Anfield for the 5-5 the other week, I was sat right at the end of the press box, and there was a walkway where the fans obviously walk up.
You in the press box?
Right in the shadows of the Emirates.
Press box bingo.
And the fans walk up and they'd speak to me. A couple of them spoke to me, and every one of them is scouting each other from Liverpool, and they've been there for years watching the football. Yeah. I'm in the similar kind of seat at the Emirates, and the fans that walk up, and there's people that clearly haven't been before. And as I say, you're welcome
There's
to
thousands of.
Well, you're
all over the place.
You're welcome to kind of turn up and pay for your ticket, and if you want to come watch Arsenal, come watch Arsenal. Everyone's welcome. Yeah. But it feels like there's none of the kind of original support. The core isn't there for me.
Which is what I said earlier. They were prepared to almost make that sacrifice to bring in the bucks in the short term. Yeah. Sort of like
and now
disassociate themselves and price people out who would travel home and away.
Yeah.
You know,
Football's
That's
not
why you
football
always see
anymore, it's a
the away.
business.
That's why the away end at away games is always a lot more vibrant, packed out.
Of course
and
it
fun.
is.
Yeah, but even so, there's still people you look at and you go, I'm not sure how you've got 54 credits, basically,
Exactly,
because
yeah.
you never see me. But that's a different matter. What I should say is I've got to make a slight distinction in terms of sort of tourists, because I've seen loads of discussions on this where it's like you can't be an Arsenal fan if you're not from London or the South East or England.
Anyone
Or
welcome.
all of us, well, you said that as well, we've all said it, all of us well. And the flip side of that is I lived in Australia for a year, basically, and I used to get up at 4 a.m. and watch games in a pub or my house or go to a party or whatever. Did that make me less of a fan doing that? I was still an Arsenal fan. So if
absolutely.
you're watching it in Australia or out of Mongolia or wherever, you're still an Arsenal fan. It's the passion that separates it. If you're going in there with a bag full of Gunnosaurus Rexes,
Put the phone away.
having two
Put
selfie
the phone
sticks,
away.
put the phone away, and you're not watching the game, you don't know who the centre forward is, you don't care about the history or the heritage. For me, you're not an Arsenal fan,
That is
you're a tourist. Yeah,
That's what I mean
exactly.
by tourist.
Yeah, exactly.
And the club were prepared to invite that in the short term, and now kind of reaping what they say. Because these people, as soon as we start dropping down the league, it's already happening. They will go somewhere else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Chelsea's looking warm this time of year for them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But to talk more about issues on the pitch, obviously I think the word toxicity was used in that We Care to You statement, and this toxic atmosphere is not going to help players that
It
are
wasn't
bedding
that
in.
toxic though.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot worse toxic. It
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
toxic
I
at
mean
all.
sort of
Definitely
generally
not.
round.
Oh, right,
okay.
Sort of- and in the dressing room as well. I mean, they mentioned as well that there's a rift in the dressing room as well.
But at the start of the game, people were trying to get behind the team, and then Southampton
Oh, yeah,
came
absolutely,
straight out and
yeah.
started laying
They've had
into
five-
us.
they've
And,
five
the
shots in the
natural
first
reaction
10
is
minutes.
people are there going, Christ, you're going to get battered again.
Yeah.
And that deflates. It's on the pitch, mate, that's got to get the fans behind them, because Arsenal fans are
Absolutely,
trying to start.
absolutely.
Well, consider Southampton's previous 3 games had fewer shots than they had against us.
They had 20
And we
20
started with
shots.
5 defenders.
I know.
How does that work?
Yeah.
Against a team that can't shoot, doesn't shoot, can't score, won't score, and then we
Can't
just
score
can't...
once, wasn't that a TV programme?
Yeah. we had a close call in the first minute. And
Yeah.
I had a mate behind me. He's been away in France for a while.
Who's that?
Kevin.
Well, okay, yeah.
Matty's there.
Hi, Kev.
All right, Kev. And he said, it's been bad as everyone's made out. He saw the first couple of games of the season. I said, yeah, it's really bad. As soon as it started, he went, blimey, the defence is all over the place. They had that shot. I said, that's going to be one in a series of 25, the way we've been going.
Yeah.
And it panned out exactly the
I think
same.
it was actually 25.
Missed it.
Was-
21, I think.
Missed
It's
it, Glen
like-
strikes
Missed it,
again.
Glen strikes again.
The opening goal just sums it up. Sums everything wrong with the defence to me. You look at it, right? Chambers gives away a free kick. You can't argue with that. Every defender gives away a free kick. But he should have gone and stood in front of the ball, sort of being taken quickly. He wasn't looking. He was appealing.
Ball's moving.
Well, that as well. Yeah.
VAR can't do that.
You look, and then you go along and look at Socrates. He's 5 yards deep on everyone else, playing Ings onside. Should have been stepping up. He should have been the one in the middle who's the most experienced of the trio. Obviously, David Luiz has got a lot of experience too, but he should have been leading it, saying, right, everyone up in a line with, this is how we are.
Yeah.
David Luiz wasn't even looking at the ball.
Exactly.
He's looking off at the far side when literally nothing is happening.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Shrugging his shoulders.
He's looking
Yeah.
for the bus back to Chelsea.
He
Can I
sweats.
go with him?
That man sweats less on the pitch than Prince Andrew claimed.
But has he been at Pizza Expressly Woking though?
It's a hot spot. It's a hot spot.
He does. Maybe he's got the same condition.
Oh my word.
We got any lawyers?
I think we'll need one after that.
Well, as I was saying, like,
He made Toby.
Alright, we're back after our beer break. Glen isn't going on Thursday, but Arsenal will be playing Frankfurt. Boys, what do we think about that game? I mean, Emery, if it's a loss, is Emery sacked then?
No.
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 So I think the Europa League is near enough, but we need to not lose against Frankfurt and we're through. And I think, I don't think the board actually really showing much interest in the Europa League at the moment, especially our performance against Victoria a couple of weeks ago. I don't think Frankfurt's going to be much of a highlight of footballing joy.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be another one of those sort of games where we wheel out the youngsters, which is brilliant for them and excellent to watch, but I think the stadium will be half empty. I think the football performance will be pretty poor, and the fact there's no away fans, I think the atmosphere will be even worse than it was on
not the only
Saturday.
one.
Blimey, buy your tickets from Serge for Arsenal Frankfurt.
Do you know what? I'd normally leave this.
My ticket.
Do you know, I'd normally
Even you won't
leave
use
this
it.
kind of thing up to Mystic Glen, but I think what'll happen on Thursday is the youngsters will be put out, they'll win 3-4-0, will be convincing, and then we'll be like, oh, everything's all right. It's not.
Yeah. I think, no one really. No
it
one
will
will
be
think that,
paping
but
over
yeah,
the cracks,
fair
won't it,
point.
Glenn?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh!
Martinelli's been a positive of the whole
A
season.
sensation.
He's been a
Sensation.
Yeah, well, he was the one that put the cross in against Southampton on
Yeah,
the Saturday,
exactly,
and
yeah.
hopefully if he starts against
Should have come on
Frankfurt.
earlier.
Well, agreed. Yes. So should Willock.
Maybe should have started.
Well, yeah, I mean
I
that's
said
definitely
this,
a big
yeah.
thing. That's what Dan said in the Shadow of the Emirates about. So he should
Talk
have
about word
started.
bingo.
This is the first time I've left the Shadow of the Emirates in 7 days.
But I think Frankfurt should be realistically quite an interesting, fun game, because we should be sort of looking forward to it. European game with top of the group. If we win this, we're through. It should be a really fun game, but I feel as though the atmosphere is just not going to be there. It feels quite deflated,
Especially
at the moment.
without the away fans.
Obviously with the ban, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that was one of the reasons. And anonymous Mark, doesn't know him, but he was really. He loves Germany and he loves German fans, and he was really looking forward to sort of like going to the game to see. They always generate a great atmosphere, home and away.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a disappointment. I think it's going to be a bit of a damp squib, really, to be honest.
So what have Arsenal done? They've banned. I can't.
There was
I was reading
UEFA.
about
It wasn't
the other day.
Arsenal. It was
banned
UEFA.
No, but in terms of ticket sales, sorry. So
Yeah.
if you're a red member, if you're a red member
okay.
after the 30th of August,
I believe,
you can't buy a match ticket.
I believe if you've registered for a red or silver, possibly, correct me if I'm wrong, before the 30th, after the 30th of August, you're not allowed to buy a ticket.
Okay.
There's no ticket exchange. You're not allowed to sell anything on.
Yeah.
And they're going to be quite draconian if anyone does sort of like sell them to a tout or whatever, and a Frankfurt fan. There will be Frankfurt fans in there.
They're not
Because
going to be able to
they were
stop
talking
it.
about doing that for Cologne, and I remember thinking,
Yeah,
like,
but they weren't planned for. They didn't.
no. But they were saying,
That went well.
But yeah. But I think they put those procedures in place. I'm sure. At least they were talking about it. I don't know if they did.
No, because I sold mine on the tickets.
Did you?
And it went in 30
We'll have to cut that
seconds.
bit out.
To Hans Zimmer.
That never happened.
Was he wearing double denim as well?
Yeah, I know.
Loads of badges.
Was a lot of red balloons behind him?
99 Luftballons.
Scorpions out on his arm. Gorky Park.
That's what you're trying to think of other German songs that made it into England.
Are you going to go to the game, Layth?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we'll be there. It's in terms of German football culture, I love going to Germany. Like, I don't think many fans don't enjoy a trip to Germany if you're a football fan, basically, because it's set up just to enjoy yourself, basically. The fan culture's great. The stadiums are good. The fact you can drink there, it's just the whole culture is just.
The
and obviously,
pricing,
someone said earlier,
as well.
Yeah,
There was something about it a few seasons ago. It was like you could buy a Borussia Dortmund season ticket for the same price. You could go and watch one game in the Premier League.
Yeah, which is
says it all for
incredible,
me.
yeah.
Borussia Dortmund. I think you've probably been to the ground, haven't you?
I've been to Dortmund for a night out when we played Schalke. I've not actually been to Dortmund.
It's an incredible atmosphere. That's what you want. I want to go as well. I want to be in that yellow wall. That's going to be. It would be an incredible experience. I think that's what fans deserve and want.
Yeah, we had a lock-in in an Irish pub till 6 a.m. when we played Schalke, when we stayed in Dortmund, but that's a completely different story. So,
Well, two friends I used to have, they both Bayern Munich.
Used to have?
Well, I've exposed
what
them
did you do to it?
He's left them in Germany.
They're in
I
the
don't blame
party
them.
somewhere.
They're Bayern Munich season ticket holders,
Okay, right.
but they live in Surrey. And it's actually cheaper for them to have a season ticket, fly out for every other home game,
Wow, yeah.
than it is to actually have a season ticket for Chelsea or Arsenal.
That's incredible, isn't it?
I mean, how mad is that?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they still got to see Arsenal lose 5-1 every week. We have to pay more to see that.
Yeah.
Honestly, what was it? 3-5-1 defeats against
Yes,
Munich. I
it
went to all
was.
three of them.
I touched on this a lot. Maybe I did. I can't remember. But
It's because you're old, like me.
we go on about football tourism over here, but there's a huge amount each weekend fly out to Germany.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, but they get involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we like
I'll be
Toby,
flying out soon.
Glen, and myself went over to Frankfurt, didn't we, for a really good 3-0 victory. Basically, that was a right laugh, and the atmosphere was fantastic over there. It was really, really good fun, and yeah, we had a great night, didn't we?
But what were Frankfurt like to, as the fans to watch? How was their atmosphere like? Was it
It was
brilliant?
pretty decent. I mean, we were obviously in the way in.
we
Good
missed,
question.
We missed the Tifo thing. But
yeah. We're still
you
picking
were
up our
late.
right credits,
What?
basically, yeah.
Yeah, Layth was just necking his fourth Bratwurst.
I think I had 5. My record is 5 bratwursts
Were you
per game,
holding it up for him?
No, but currywurst they chop into little bits. They don't.
Oh, that's all right for you, isn't it? Slide it in.
we're literally walking out the ground. We stopped at 2, and at the third one, I was like, I can't do it.
You're like, is that the time?
Toby's bursting at the seams and Leif's going, give me more! I want more!
Trying to keep up. Didn't want to look like a lightweight.
Please,
I'm a growing lad.
please, German, sir, I want some more.
But yeah, I mean, like we love German football. We love German culture. It's such a shame that Frankfurt fans will be banned because that would have added to a real atmosphere. Obviously, Cologne, 20,000 Cologne fans. People going, "Oh, yeah, it's terrible." No, fair play to them. It's only what we were doing. Well, before the internet was invented, my first European trip away with Arsenal, 1993, Liège. We drove over there. We didn't have a hotel. We didn't have match tickets. We didn't have no sat nav. Didn't know where we were going.
Didn't have a car.
We walked for 40 days.
40 days and 40 nights together. And it was like the best laugh ever. Seriously. So, things have improved, but you can go too far and be slightly sanitised as well. Obviously, no one condones any trouble that Frankfurt got banned for in terms of the Victoria game and previous incidents last year. But at the same time, for me, it's a real shame there's going to be no German fans. Officially anyway, because I'm sure there will be some.
When we first got announced in the group, I was really looking forward to the atmosphere of that. Because I thought to myself, they're a brilliant sort of league for just joy, fun and pure enjoyment in the game. We don't get to see that.
Well, I mean, even the Victoria game, I remember walking past Arsenal tube station, you could hear the Victoria fans at the other end of the street. It were like they were going to war, basically.
Stockwell was mental that day.
It's what you want, isn't it? It's like they took over, basically. That should be what's happening. Fans should be enjoying themselves and creating an atmosphere.
Actually had a couple of Victoria fans actually in the bar.
Oh, really?
They came in with their scarves just to enjoy the game.
Did they set off a flare inside, as they did everywhere else?
Pyro,
They were wearing flares.
Along with you.
Okay, Boomer.
Anyway, let's move on from German football fans. Just in terms of prediction, what do you reckon? Score?
2-2.
You think we'll lose? What, 2-2?
2-2.
Yeah, I think we'll lose.
Give us a scoreline.
Did you not just say that it was going to be a win?
Yeah, it's called optimism, Toby.
Let's face it.
And contradicting yourself as well.
Right, 2-1 then, fine.
The away trip was a great experience. We got a good result, but we were a bit lucky that night.
Two late goals.
Again, conceded how many shots? We're averaging about 25, aren't we?
Infinity.
I think I'm going for 3-1 to Frankfurt.
Blimey.
Sorry to be.
They look pretty poor when we watched.
To be fair, Glenn, you're not going, mate. It's all right.
See, I'm quite confident because I think the younger players that will play are going to have a lot more enthusiasm for the game than our current first team squad are.
Yeah.
Whoever those 11 players might be.
And you know what? You know what's going to happen? Mustafi's back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Captain Mustafi.
Captain Mustafi.
On the banners there. No, he'll play a good game. He'll look a great player, and then you'll probably get Willock, Saka, Reece Nelson and stuff like that scoring goals, and you'll probably get Emma Smith Rowe in the middle.
And the B-side's been full of energy, you're right.
Yeah. They look like they're up for it.
I retract that 3-1, you're probably right. It's probably trouncing.
So I'm going 4.
And everything will be okay.
5-1.
If that's a
5-1.
I'm going 5-1. Because we will never have a clean sheet.
Take that drink off him, he's had enough. 5-1.
5-1. I will eat my words if I don't, but I reckon it will be 5-1.
But on a serious level, if the result doesn't, if we get anything less than a win, it's just going to add fuel to the fire, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the real issue is Norwich on Sunday, basically, whether we win or lose.
We've never really had a good record at Carrow Road either.
Well, I remember seeing us win 4-2
I don't know, Jenkinson and Ramsey in that
89.
game in 2015. Jenkinson's only goal for Arsenal, I believe.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of bad performances there.
Do you remember the old away end? It used to be half like behind the goal.
Yeah.
If you watch it on TV, it was the right-hand side. They had a fence all the way to the roof.
Yeah.
And I remember we beat them 4-2 one year. And
you scaled the fence?
No,
do you know what? I didn't think so.
I was too busy eating my sausages.
Breakfast.
But there was a geezer. He was so excited. He climbed the roof. He climbed the fence and literally just jumped off. And I was like, what's going on?
And you're all below him, like.
Talking about unbridled excitement when you just lose control. I was at a gig once at Brixton Academy, and a mate of mine was so excited he took off his shoe and threw it on stage. Well, that's a completely different story.
Who was playing?
I think it was Chemical Brothers or something. It was just it was a long night.
I mean, I'd
he was so full of joy and ecstasy, as it were. He literally just dropped his train at the stage. But
that was subtle.
Yeah.
He hopped home.
He hopped home. Yeah, he literally did. But he didn't realise in the morning. But
back to football and Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk quickly a bit to just jump back to Southampton game briefly. Obviously, Emery had the whole international break just to have a sort of think and a debrief. And yet, in the Southampton game, Arsenal were the exact same. I mean, and also in the Guimaraes game, Arsenal looked exactly the same as the first team had, really.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to continue, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right, actually.
Yeah.
I'll go back to my 3-1.
Mr. Glen is starting to waver.
By the end of this podcast, Glenn will have settled on a scoreline.
It's something that's infected the dressing room, isn't it? I mean, it's it's a systematic thing, and it's within the dressing room now. And
Yeah.
I was saying
That, you
earlier,
know what? That Vittoria game was just so awful.
Well, it was a dreadful game to watch.
No shot on target until the 80th minute. I was so bored.
But what did Emery say afterwards? He said it was a good performance or something, didn't he? Or was just,
Yeah, but he said
Because that's the only words he knows.
yeah. Emery bingo.
The one good thing is Socrates will not be playing, will he?
Unlikely, yeah.
Shouldn't
Oh,
think so.
please, we want your analogy on Socrates.
Well, I just, it was a bit of an off-the-cuff comment outside to Dan. I just said, when he sort of like set up, nearly provided an assist for Southampton on Saturday.
Yeah.
yeah.
I just said he sort of like turned like a juggernaut trying to execute a 3-point turn down a country lane.
You've done many of them recently.
All the time.
And then I followed it up with saying, does he get on a team bus to go to the stadium, or is he sort of like separate, one of those flat back, sort of like, heavy load being carried, he's sitting carrying. In comes Socrates into the dressing room.
It takes up 2 lanes in the motorway.
Flashing lights around.
They've got to chain him down.
Going about 12 miles an hour.
I want to give it away at the back. Let me free.
If there's anyone you do not want playing out the back, I mean, come on.
that's
Glenn's
Glenn's view of Socrates.
He's not very good, says Glen.
Essentially, yeah.
You assume we're probably going to start holding in Chambers against Frankfurt.
Yeah.
Holding a
well,
Mustafi.
Holding
Well,
Mustafi,
sorry. Unless he plays 5 at the back and has 3 centre.
No, we're going 8 at the back.
Yeah, exactly. But so
Against Norwich, does he start again? I mean, surely.
Do you know what? I'd just call off the game and give up. Give him the 3 points.
honestly, yeah.
Well, Norwich need that win a lot more than
Will he drop
they
the
let on.
leads?
Yeah.
So do we, Serge.
What, we 8 points off relegation, are we?
We're closer to the relegation zone than we are at the
We're
top
1
4.
point above United and Spurs, so that's the only saving grace so far.
Every cloud has a silver lining.
Exactly.
Can I just say, I was looking at the table, I think, yesterday.
What?
What?
You're under the table?
I was looking at the
You were
table.
under the table?
Yeah.
I'll go if you want.
It
No.
was hiding from the Southampton.
Yeah, Norwich away. No, I was looking at the table, and a few weeks ago, everyone was going, "Oh, Wolves are in real trouble here. Might get relegated." They're now 5th above us.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
how bad have we been?
Yeah. And Nuno Espirito Santo's in the frame for...
Do you know what? I was looking at the odds earlier. He's 2-1 odds on favourite.
I know, where did that come from?
I
Seriously?
don't know, but I mean, I'd rather have him than Emery.
Well,
But you could see something in place with Wolves. And they had a wobble because they got into Europe and they had all those
Early start of the
pre-season,
season,
well, not
yeah.
pre-season, but early season qualifiers.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there's something going on there. There's a certain vibrancy.
Well, they're a wonderful team to watch.
But
they've got a good-
They've got 2 top-class
we just
midfielders.
have not got that.
Yeah.
We just have not got that. It's just so depressing. We'll sit here sort of like ad infinitum going on.
Yeah.
But they bought really well by getting, plundering Portugal. They did really well getting all the Portuguese players.
Yeah, he did well, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Plundering Portugal.
Yeah, and if you're watching, we did a chat with Johnny Phillips, who's a friend of ours. We're obviously on Sky Sports, I should say, but we won't talk about that now. But Johnny's obviously a big Wolves fan, and we talked about the game, and he did talk in depth about the Wolves side, and they're a really good team, aren't they?
They're a
Really
very
good
good
squad.
team.
So,
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, Ruben Neves last season, in the previous season in the Championship, he was scoring so many goals from outside the penalty box. It was unbelievable. That man's got a boot on him.
Yeah,
He-
and
he
Jota was a good addition as well.
Yeah.
Ruben
And him
Neves
as well,
would walk into Arsenal's team much like he walked through their midfield at the Emirates the other week.
Yeah.
And they would
Class
walk out of
player.
it. He would walk out of it very quickly.
Him
when
and
he sees
Matinho would be straight in that team.
Yeah.
Oh, easily.
You could say a lot about
You could
the
say that
play-
about
the players
most
in the
Premier
bottom half
League
teams.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, that's
yeah.
the big difference, though, isn't it? They've got a cohesive midfield that actually links up with the defence and the attack, and actually allows them to play from the back through in a
But
cohesive
he knows
manner.
what he wants to do,
Yeah.
and so do the players.
And he's a good communicator as well, which probably means
And he's
a
got
lot
a
these days.
fantastic beard.
Don't get me on beards.
not thought about
Sir
getting
just
a
got a
beard.
man crush.
What about Glenn with a beard then? What do you reckon?
I've got
Yeah,
pictures
it's
of me with a
3 on
beard
2
before
for
it
the
took
beards.
place. All right, okay, we want to get into beards.
Where is this going?
Right, I've got a little. I didn't really realise what was going on in that corner last week. Okay, apparently it's a new feature. Dear Dan and Serge. So I clocked onto that the other day. I thought I tuned into.
Watch it.
Yeah,
As in,
watch it.
not
Watch it. It's
no,
gonna move.
Watch the
So,
show.
yeah,
not
it's Dan and
watch it,
Serge.
Glenn.
I thought I tuned into Sesame Street and fucking Bert and Ernie.
Which was which though? Who was it?
Yeah.
Can I just say, it's
Do
you know what?
Right, okay, and there were little scathing comments about, Glenn hasn't got a smartphone, it's antiquated, he's out of date,
I was
he's
defending you.
outmoded. All I will say is, I'm not part of a generation that struts around proudly sporting facial hair that belongs in the Victorian era.
Okay, boomer.
Love it.
Wow.
What's your response? Serge?
Well, Serge.
Can I just say before you say
Okay, what are you
anything?
going to say?
Serge,
boomer.
we know who's going to be in the comments video next week.
Can I just say it's not called Dear Dan and Serge?
No, it is. No, it is.
It should be now, shouldn't it?
Well, he introduces it. He said there's a new feature, Dear Dan and Serge.
As
That's what I'm
of yet
calling.
untitled.
Oh, right, okay.
It's
That's a catchy title.
It's called Up for Grabs, and you can click on it.
It's now going to be called What People Said About Glen this week.
Glen Watch.
Glen Watch. Yeah. Glen Watch.
About 15 years ago, I had my beard goes very ginger.
Oh, that rings a bell now you said that. Yeah.
Big. I look like Bernard Cribbins. One for the kids.
My beard goes nowhere.
Voice of Cornwall.
What do you mean? You have to pluck the two hairs you get each month.
Yeah, how was your beard, Toby?
Oh, the tweezers are coming out. Anyway, back to football.
Loan Watch. Serge keen on Loan Watch.
Well, we have 4 players out there, and Dan's favourite, El Neni, played full 90 minutes for Besiktas.
How'd he get on? I've not seen the result.
He got a yellow card, so standard defensive midfield in play.
How did his side get on?
They lost 1-0.
Did they? Okay.
However,
Shock.
he is looking, like he's back to full fitness, and he's getting better.
Always a bonus.
And now that Xhaka's obviously disappeared into the sunset,
Back
is he
to
going to
full
come?
fitness. He wasn't even injured. I'd get in the Besiktas team, Serge. Put your pink pen down.
don't forget-
You're talking nonsense.
Don't forget the Barcelona game. That goal was unbelievable. El Neni has got a boot on him, and if he's utilised right, he'll be playing well.
Okay. Do you have any other game of note to mention from Mountney's Arsenal career?
Yes.
What would that be?
That's
Well, we'll
Desperately
talk about it in the
trying
comments
to
video.
He scored against Barcelona, didn't he?
That's what we were just talking about. He's woken up
I was
again.
reading my notes.
You're back
And
in the
I'm
room.
back in the room.
You're back in the room.
I was in a pub in Cheltenham that night.
What, just then?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm back in London. Oh.
Just won some money on Sir Chips Kesik's horse.
Yes. Yeah.
What a link.
Honestly, it's like ESP. We're
Seamless.
actually talking off camera about Cheltenham and Chips Keswick, which we may go on to, may not. But basically, there was a big mob of us down at Cheltenham. I go to the Cheltenham Festival every year, love it. Big shout out to all the boys who go down there. And the last race of the day, the afternoon, we'll be drinking all afternoon. Someone saw the card and goes, Sir Chips Keswick horses racing, and this we piled down the nearest book. It just put a fortune on basically on the racecourse at Cheltenham, and he come in.
Great.
So that's the only positive thing I can say about
Do you know
Chips
what?
Keswick, basically.
Do you know what?
We clean these bookies out.
Hang on,
basically.
I've
Sir
got.
Chips Keswick himself is a non-runner.
I've got a genuine
wants
question
out.
about your trip to Cheltenham.
Go on.
Knowing,
Every year.
knowing you well, you don't often like to wear a suit.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Did you wear a suit
I
to
had
Cheltenham, or
my
were you in your
barber
Calvin
quilted jacket on.
Klein t-shirt and
No,
your
I
trainers?
was proper suited and booted. Seriously. We go in the Alcohol's
I've
bar.
been down a couple of times.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? Yeah,
I
it's
just-
such
I
a-
just had
we
to
should
check.
do a Gooner Fanzine trip out. Seriously, at
Very
Cheltenham.
good.
Are you
How many-
paying?
Festival. Well, if keep watching, we may be able to. But
Yes, get
no,
in.
no. As soon as you never buy around, then probably.
Sorry, I bought one Saturday.
Who says one?
What do you reckon
Reference.
about Sir Chips though? He's
Yeah.
threatening to resign. He doesn't want to take any flack. Thank you for your interest in our
Exactly, yeah. That's a condescending line from someone who's so completely removed from fans that it's embarrassing, basically.
The first
And
man
he
off
wouldn't
the
be
sinking
lost. He wouldn't
ship.
be- he wouldn't be missed if he left Arsenal, basically, as far as I'm concerned.
Fair enough.
That's settled.
I'll stop sitting in the fence.
Serge, to
basically.
continue Loan Watch,
From Sir
Supposed to rant.
from Sir Chips to Eddie and Ketia. Let me guess, he was on the bench.
Patrick Bamford Watch.
Yeah. Good one.
We had a few youngsters in play. We had Ben Sheaf, he played a full 90 minutes as well.
Love Ben Sheaf.
I
Interviewed him, he's a good
do
lad.
you know what? I watched him for the under twos, I said the other week.
Yeah. Was he the under threes now?
He's getting up there.
Ben Sheaf played well. They conceded a penalty, but overall apparently played quite a good game. Osei Tutu as well.
Yeah, how's he
also
getting
played
on Bockham?
He played for the entire game as well, which
How'd
was
they
a
get
draw.
on? Right, okay.
So it's all quite positive when players away, but forgetting players we got on loan, players we got rid of. Ramsey got in 2 goals for Wales in the international break.
Oh,
And then
do you know
other
what?
players like that. I mean,
shout, yeah.
it's getting harder and harder to look at the things we missed out on from their performances.
Do you know what? I want to make a point about Aaron Ramsey. He was got rid of, essentially. They didn't want him. Why? If you look at the games that Arsenal played this season, they're crying out for a player who's going to take him by the scruff of the neck and come up big at important times.
Absolutely.
Exactly the kind of player he is. Why they let him go is beyond me.
Yeah. Well, I wrote a few pieces around the sort of contract talks, and the deal was on the table, and then basically Emery and Rao took it away. Probably more Rao than Emery, basically. But Emery didn't fight for that contract to stay there.
I think
basically,
Emery didn't have him in his plans.
he didn't want him, did he? He didn't have him in his plans. Wasn't
Oh,
particularly
yeah,
Yeah,
available.
but you look
wonder.
at what happened
How
after.
could you not have Ramsey in your plans?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but you look at what
talent.
happened after they pulled the contract off the table, and week in, week out, he was putting in performances that showed he deserved to start, and
Yeah,
it's a ridiculous decision.
I think you're right about it. And Ramsey is a bit of a Marmite character to certain fans, but at the same time, the fact is, regardless of what he was doing on the pitch or off the or not doing on the pitch, as it were, and for me, he always gave his best whether he played well or not.
Yeah.
He was the longest serving player. He'd won the FA Cup 3 times. Practically won. He got 2 winners, didn't he?
Yeah, he
In
did.
14
Yeah,
and,
two
and
cup final
15. We
winners,
were
yeah.
obviously all there. So even if he's not playing every week, he was the ultimate professional, consummate pro. He would have been such an instructive figure for players to look at. Forget about Granit Xhaka and people like that. Youngsters would look at Ramsey and go, look, he's training hard every day.
You look at
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and for them to let him go for nothing. I know he's in the last year of his contract, but again, that's the dereliction. Of
You look at the end of his
terrible.
Arsenal
It's so
spell.
frustrating.
We were there in Naples when he came off of that hamstring
Yeah.
injury that kind of ended
Yeah, we knew
ended
then
his
that was-
Arsenal
yeah,
career.
yeah.
He was in tears that
Absolutely, good
night,
point.
and then at the Emirates for that last game, he
Yeah.
was in tears as well.
Yeah, and that
that
was
is
genuine.
someone
That-
to me who
yeah,
cares
well,
about the club and
yeah.
cares about everything
Well
that goes
said,
on.
If
Yeah.
you look at the celebration wall next to Thierry Henry's statue, he's the most recent player on there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because he's
That's
from
interesting.
2017. There's his picture there, and then
Yeah.
or every other player before that you look up and remember
Yeah.
the incredible victories much earlier.
Well, we're
Yeah.
coming. We're
Yeah,
coming
he's
to
the
the.
best player we've had for quite a
Yeah.
long stretch.
We're
of
coming
time.
to the end of the
Influential.
decade, and for me, he's been Arsenal's best player this decade. I don't know what you guys
Certainly
think.
has
but-
been for Rangers in terms of big games.
I have a few apologies to make. We've got a very close friend who's a Cardiff fan and an Arsenal fan. I'm not going to shout his name out.
Welsh George.
But
It is as well. Yeah. Hello, mate.
There it is.
but
Love him.
I was quite critical of him. I never booed. I don't like booing players and that, but I was quite critical of him. And George knows this. But the last couple of seasons, and especially last season, I really sort of took me out to Ramsey. I thought he held the team together. I think he wasn't in Emery's plans to start with, so he had to sort of like get into sort of like the team.
Yeah, yeah.
He was an absolute consummate pro.
Yeah.
And I felt gutted when he left, and there's a big gaping hole. So I'll bite the bullet, swallow my pride. I'll totally misjudge that, but I do think he was played out of position a lot by Wenger.
Yeah, well,
Not hung
seems to
out
be a
to
running
dry,
theme by our managers.
Not hung out
Yeah,
to
yeah.
dry, but sort of like played out of position so that he did bring on a lot of criticism.
yeah. There's a podcast.
But he's a
for
great
himself.
guy, and
Oh, well said, mate.
No,
I
in
do
that
think so.
regard,
Fair
I'd
play.
also like to apologise to Aaron Ramsey thinking about it. I got my gran into watching Arsenal years ago. And
Right, fair play.
she's to be fair to her, she's stuck with it. She's Arsenal through and through now, and she's great. Aaron Ramsey was her favourite player, and I always used to say to her, "Do you know what, he's terrible. He can't pass the ball 5 yards." And do you know what, I look back at it now, and I want to apologise to her and to him.
Good
Because
man,
I
Dan.
miss it. I
Good man.
miss him so
Honestly.
much.
She's like looking at you in the press book going, what does he know?
so what he's done,
Do you know what she always says? And I completely agree with it now. She says, "Kick it in the goal." Just kick it in the goal.
Your name's spot on there, mate.
Yep.
Seriously, she knows
and
the
the
score.
injury he picked up and the way he's come over that. I mean, don't get me wrong. That day that injury happened,
Don't tell me about Stoke City. Yeah, I know you would.
You know what I
Just
think.
like any Arsenal fan, yeah, exactly.
That.
Yeah.
That seems to be
And
a
more,
running theme
yeah.
though of Arsenal. We've always had issues with injuries. And then looking at the loan watch now, 3 of our players are out there on loan. They're all injured.
All injured, oh, God, yeah.
Eddie
Welcome to
Nketiah,
Arsenal.
Yeah,
Mkhitaryan.
or is it the Patrick Bamford effect?
Yeah, they're all injured. Why is it Arsenal always seems to have injuries?
Yeah, honestly.
What is it that we do to the players
Well,
that
not
injure
Yeah,
bad
them?
now.
very good point. Yeah.
Now you want certain
Well, now
players
they
to
don't,
get
now they
injured.
don't train hard
We,
enough.
do you know what? I openly kind of cheered a few weeks ago when they put out the injury news every
There was
Thursday,
none, was
and there was none. I
Yeah,
thought,
literally first time.
What is
in
that?
years.
What?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're going to get comments saying
Yeah.
that we're being too nice to Ramsey basically, and that we're just remembering his bad times. Because obviously there were seasons where he wasn't so good, and I think.
But he never hit. He never hit.
Yeah,
No.
but my sort of argument with that is that he wasn't a player that could defy a system. I think if he was at Arsenal now
Yeah.
under Emery, I don't think he would be.
I
I think
disagree.
he'd be in the same
I
position.
disagree.
as
I
Glen
He
did.
bailed Emery out a lot.
Yeah,
I tell
last
you what,
season, yeah.
I have to say, Toby, I really got to swallow my words because I was very critical of Ramsey. But when I saw him playing in his natural position, probably had his best games with Ozil, sorry, not against Ozil. I have to take me out of him. He was the player that I'd never seen, and he was great. And I think we miss him mad.
Yeah.
Imagine if he was playing against Southampton, the difference that just having that attacking-minded player would have made.
Yeah.
do you know
brought
what
him
I
on.
think with Aaron Ramsey
I
is?
was very, very critical of him.
Yeah. I think with Aaron Ramsey, it's a case of you don't know what you've got till it's gone.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah,
Sums it up
absolutely.
for me.
And the way he left as well, it's the leaving of a player when they leave sometimes, and he cried.
So
David
I
Rocky
remember
Rocastle
standing
cried.
there.
Paul Mercer cried. Players like that cried. Ashley Cole couldn't wait to run away. Basically, that's a mark of a man.
I
Whatever you
remember
think of it,
standing
to cry,
there.
to leave your club, to our club. Fair play to him.
At
He'll always been Arsenal legend for me.
At the end of that game,
Regardless, it was just another example of Arsenal just completely messing up their business.
Yes, well said,
it was mind blowing.
Sanchez, Ozil, all of it. It's just been terrible business.
Who was that though? I still think it was Emery who said he doesn't feature in my plans. We're not
He could have fought for Ramsey to stay.
Fulham goal,
that 5-1.
that celebration. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Any man who's won 2 cup finals for me should be a staple. It should be the
And
first
he-
name on the team sheet.
Yeah.
Because he's going to come up big in moments where you need him.
And I'll tell you
Yeah,
what,
'cause
I
he's
love
got
the
that mentality.
celebration of Spurs at Wembley. It was like,
Yeah, it was. This is
Oh,
my ground.
mate.
That alone should be making him
Yeah.
as someone who loves Arsenal, mate, and people who love Arsenal should love him for that. Yeah,
The doors are always open for me.
Well,
If he
yeah,
wants to come back, he's
How
more
old
than
is he
welcome. 29,
28,
29, yeah.
Who's counting the numbers up, man?
Yeah, just numbers. Yeah.
He's
wrapped up
somewhere
random
somewhere
numbers.
between 16 and 30.
He's a young
Is he a boomer? I don't know. Like,
Okay, boomer.
Is he in a millennial?
I think it's
Generation
about,
Z.
I think it's about time for Glen's notes.
Oh,
Drum
yeah.
roll.
are we staying on? Well, I'll talk to you about OK Boomer for a start.
There
Do
we
you
go.
realise Fox News want to patent that phrase?
God.
And
You don't
create
watch
a
Fox
sitcom
News,
out
do
of
you?
That sounds
Seriously,
about right.
no,
Fox
sorry,
News
not
is a
Fox News.
sitcom.
Hang on.
It's Fox TV. I think they want to create. There's been so much sort of like noise, as they say, around the phrase "OK Boomer." They're trying to sort of trademark it. So they already want to write a sitcom called OK
Are
Boomer.
we? Sorry,
should
hang on.
definitely star in
Are
it.
we going to have to bleep out all the references to OK Boomer to avoid getting sued?
Okay, beep.
So,
How's it go?
Nice, nicely done.
are we staying? I've already said the Sesame Street thing, haven't I?
Yeah, move on.
Right,
Me and
right.
Sergio have been criticised. Keep
I
going.
went to the Gunners whilst you were hobnobbing with celebrity friends in the Che Guevara.
Just to explain if you haven't been watching or seen
Explain.
us on Twitter.
Me and
or
Sergio
whatever.
are innocent.
So we had a bit of a Gooner day out after we did Gooner Fanzine day out after we did our filming. We'd agreed to meet Glen and the swimmers. Obviously, you know, as you know, like you film stuff, it goes on a bit longer. It was cold and dark, and we
Like
were
this
drunk.
podcast.
And we ended up in the Che Guevara pub. Big shout out to the Che Guevara pub. If you go to Arsenal, you go to the Emirates, you might know it. Basically, we went there the first season Arsenal moved to the Emirates, basically, just because it was the nearest pub in my book, basically. And for some reason, we staggered there from the shadows of the Emirates to the Che Guevara pub.
We staggered.
Just for
We hadn't even had a
quick beer.
drink.
And I've got to say,
What did we stagger?
He was staggered through
you're the
hunger.
only one sober. We've been drinking all day. But, basically, yeah,
I'm a consummate professional.
They could have 25 beers and not be staggering. It is unbelievable.
I wouldn't have been thinking about it.
Toby, you were not there Saturday.
Came home with Socrates.
Wheeling him
But
in.
anyway, cut a long story short, we met a really, really good guy, proper genuine Arsenal fan in Alex Brooker. Really, really good guy. He's agreed to come on the pod at some stage as well. So if you're watching that, thanks very much. Great to talk all things Arsenal with you. Huge respect as well. So we were in there for about an hour.
Meanwhile,
on a Saturday night,
He's
you know how
not
time
watching.
flies.
On Glen
Before
watch.
we knew it, it was like 9 o'clock. And I was like, oh God, we got to go. Well, not oh God, we got to go to the Gunners, but we were running late. So we went to the Gunners. Obviously, Andy was on last week. Big friend of the show. We love him. You know, we've had Matt on talking about the book as well. We've only got one song. There was a book launch in the Gunners. Cut a long story short, Riders of Night played as well. We got there. It was great because Glen was there, and we got there after the band had finished. So apologies for missing that out. Didn't mean to. We staggered in. What time? About 9:30. Yeah.
Not staggering.
So
It was all Leif's fault.
So Glen was there and he was fuming, but not having a smartphone, he couldn't actually talk to us and tell us that.
No, he's got a Nokia. It doesn't mean he can't make a phone call, Leif.
I met up with Andy. I've got a clutch of CDs, gratis.
Clutch.
A stagger and a clutch.
What is this
I had a
night?
little selfie tape with him. He said, I managed to turn up to your podcast. Why didn't you get to my gig? Ooh.
Oh no, honestly, yeah,
Scathing.
it's got me there. Sorry, Andy.
And it's all Leif's
Next time we
fault.
drive up to an away
Right.
game, you've got to use those clutch of CDs. as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, we will do as well. Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm
Andy.
going to whip
So
through these.
apologies, sorry.
Sorry,
through
Andy.
him.
I'm going to whip through them.
Whip
Right.
through 'em.
Some of these don't even need commenting.
John Lewis had nauseating. I just
Yeah,
read
no,
that.
not ad.
I just saw that. It's like, is this an Arsenal podcast or like John Lewis?
Well, you normally ask me things that wind me up. I'm getting festive. So
We should just have half an hour of completely non-Arsenal related. Glenn,
Welcome to Glenn's Monday night therapy session.
John Lewis has doing the heading.
Why? Why is it doing your head in?
Why? Well, we've got a general election coming up that's sort of like young people seem to be more in a froth.
Here we go, Glenn
But
on
it's not down to
politics.
John Lewis to go vote.
No, they seem to be more in a froth about the John Lewis ad coming up than bloody general election. Don't say okay, boom.
Okay, boomer.
No.
Okay.
What are the specifics
Boomer.
about does the advert itself annoy you?
Why is it an event? Why is it an event?
What do you mean?
It's an event. It's
not even a very
Glenn,
good
the
Glenn.
John Lewis ad.
Fully.
So you haven't got anything against
Just
Little
Glenn,
Dragon,
just say
though?
it. Glenn, just say it. Bar humbug.
Do you know what? I've got a note here saying if anyone says bar humbug or the Grinch.
Yes.
But
Sorry.
And then
what's
the,
wrong with that dragon though? That dragon's really cute, though. Isn't it?
Oh, it's just
When did you go so soft?
There's only one cute dragon.
That dragon.
Yeah, true.
It's a dinosaur, not a dragon.
Talking about Gunnosaurus, Toby highlighted on our WhatsApp group.
It was
You
actually
can
me.
hire-
It was
you?
actually me.
Oh, sorry, I don't
Sorry,
pay attention to you. But someone said you could hire Gunnosaurus for events.
He'll be on the podcast very soon.
Wait till next week when Gunnosaurus is our special guest.
And Serge is in the outfit.
Right. Okay, I'm going to whip through these now.
Go on.
Okay. I spoke to you about Apple Watches. Not got a problem
What
with
is
them.
this? What is this?
In cinemas, do my nutting. Because every time someone moves, there's like a flash of light. It's really
A
irritating.
golden touch.
You know, no, they just do me. They flash about. I'll tell you what. There must be some stroboscopic effect. Any other vigorous.
I'm hoping you're going into like a Bellerin analysis.
I'm just slightly concerned I turned to Jason Donovan for a moment. That was a bit weird.
All I'm saying is, I'm trying to watch a film. I can see a light every time someone slowly moves their wrist. It'll be like a stroboscope when any other kind of vigorous wrist activities take place.
How slowly?
Did
Did he just say that?
How slowly is slowly?
This is what you watch for.
Next,
This is what you tune in for.
What was your last film you watched? I've got to ask.
the last film.
Yeah, you're quite a cinema goer, aren't you?
I went cineast.
It was Frozen, wasn't
Let's
it?
not go there.
No, I went to see a film. It was a little preview show, free film, just called Honey Boy. It was a Shia
Right.
LaBeouf film, sort of like directed. It wasn't very good, but I was. Well, not frozen out. I walked into
You
the
saw
cinema.
Frozen?
Oh, let it go.
I was
Frozen
just
2?
surrounded. Yeah, let it go.
Yes.
Surrounded by
Nailed
a lot of kids going to see Frozen. All I'm going to say about Frozen is, okay, right?
No expletives. No expletives.
Frozen apparently perpetuates a very sort of like environmental friendly message,
Right.
right? At the same
I'm
time,
scared.
it's a massive.
Shall I go and fill up my
It's
beer?
It's a massive merchandising exercise that's going to
Facts.
create loads and loads of plastic toys that are going to end up in landfills as soon as
a
little kids grow
conspiracy.
up.
So
Chuck it away.
basically,
Like million tons of landfill. And it's, come on, Disney, what's your comment? It is cognitive dissonance writ large.
so hang on. Have you just?
What does that even mean?
It means it's an apparent contradiction. Like somebody smokes, but you get lung cancer, but they still do it.
I challenge
Okay.
you to tie this back to Arsenal now.
What, Frozen?
Jack has been frozen out. Way!
Frozen. A lot of people claimed when we played City, it was too cold to go that night, and they would be frozen. It wasn't
Like
that.
it.
It's because no one gave a flying.
Is that cognitive dissonance as well?
That's
Can't
not
even say
cognitive.
it.
Do you know what I have to say to that point?
Christ.
Right,
Okay, boomer.
Yeah.
I agree.
right,
Yeah.
that's it.
Just to the
Toby to
last
swear.
5 minutes in general. Okay, boom.
Okay, boomer.
Still on the Christmas theme, okay?
I hate
Christmas, that's how we
I hate
finish.
Christmas.
Festive self-service tills.
What?
Festive self-service.
I did have my
tills. You know,
first
there you go.
Christmas sandwich. I did have the first Christmas sandwich of the season today. I was so pleased.
What's going on?
The Christmas sandwich selection at Tesco's was excellent. I'm very pleased.
There is no good sandwich in any supermarket. They've been frozen.
No,
That should have been the theme.
anything with cranberry sauce in is festive and it's
Right,
better.
okay. Right,
Festering
lastly,
more, like.
the Lotto advert destroying.
You just put this hat on, Glen, and it just makes it look
You know
more
what?
funny.
Can I just say,
Tell
in case you are just tuning in now, this is the Gooner Fanzine TV podcast where we talk about Arsenal, not about
comment,
Christmas,
subscribe.
not about Christmas or Glenn's hatred of everything to ever exist. Thank you very much.
No, me and Serge edit the videos, and we've got a fair job to do.
Sorry about that. I'm just getting my revenge for OK Boomer.
Fair enough.
Thanks, Boomer.
Fair enough. Right. Back to
Glen's
Toby.
ripped
Who to be up?
Boomer. That's it.
Toby, it has to end there, my friend.
That's the intro.
That's the intro. Love it.
That's the intro. To be a
Oh,
boomer.
love it. Love it,
Just
mate.
came out.
Brilliant, seriously. And he's ripped up his notes now, so what does that normally mean?
That means it's
That
over.
means the
So,
show
yeah.
is over. Brilliant. Well, thanks very much for watching. To one of the most chaotic episodes we've done yet.
We've hoped you enjoyed Glen chatting nonsense.
If
Thank
the
you very
last
much.
10 minutes has really sort of made you want to subscribe, do that.
Feel free.
Please.
It's free.
No, Sky thought we were good enough to be on, so we must be.
Oh yeah, can we just say, look, without blowing them on trumpet anyway, thanks to Sky Sports for
already said it,
having us on. Thanks to Johnny Phillips and yeah, where did your mate Ray? He was watching it somewhere, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was trying to watch it. I think he's recorded it. But he said, yeah, Ray and Mountney, get in there, son.
Brilliant.
Did you have a corrections
Still
caller
follows.
you wanted to...
Yes, yeah, and in all seriousness, just a quick line. Good friend of mine, my best mate Dan. He was on a show on Saturday after the game, and Fred Leach, who's the son of Mark Leach, is a really good mate of mine. Brilliant Fleet Street snapper, known him years. Basically, Dan said something. Someone picked it up and said, "No, you've said this," and it was completely nonsense, basically. Yeah.
In the comments.
In the comments, basically, and yeah, it's just absolute nonsense. Have a look yourself, see what you think on it, basically, because yeah, Dan's the warmest, most kind-hearted person in the world. He talked to Fred, he talked to Fred's dad Mark about it, and it was just absolute nonsense. So if you're going to make a comment, at least make it factual, seriously. So I'll leave it at that. But everyone's cool, everyone's happy. So thanks very much. And on that serious note, I'll shut up now.
And thanks for all the positives on the guy in the flat cap as well. Positive comments, that was nice.
I've been replaced as the main Dan, haven't I? This is my last ever appearance.
This is your
Goodbye.
last day, Dan.
We're going to be having words.
We've got a new Dan the Man.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you'll be able to piece something together there.
Cool, you
No,
got
thanks very much for watching. Cheers.
He's
Bye.
getting that before you finish.
Yeah.